Keith Dykes here with W.K.D Construction, and welcome to my channel. On today's video here at the Melton Farm Project, we are going to start prepping for the beautiful stone veneer. Stone veneer is made by Centurion Stone out of Nashville, but there are a lot of a lot of preparation that you need to have in place before you start installing stone, or in your siding in this case too, because they're going to have to work together to be able to function to shed water away from the house and not create problems down the road. Stone veneer is it's just a siding basically. It's a man-made stone product. It's basically made from concrete. They stain it, put it in mold, so it is a little more cost effective than doing a real stone. That's why you probably see an abundance of it. There's not as much structural. You don't have to have it. Don't have to set on a footing. You can actually apply it directly to your structure. With that being said, where you can apply it directly to your structure, you need to have the ultimate waterproofing in behind it, because the stone veneer, they kind of call it a reservoir cladding, which means it holds water. So, you know, it soaks up water. It's a masonry product. Like if you see block or anything like that, you pour water on it, it sucks it up into itself. So you want something that once the mortar in behind the stone veneer plus the stone itself get rained on, saturated, you don't want that water to be able to get back into your wood sheathing, because basically we're installing it on a wood framed structure. And another super important aspect of waterproofing are penetrations that come through the wall. Say like over here on the house, we've got a meter base, we've got gas line, we've got electrical outlets. So anything that's outside that goes through that stone needs to be waterproof, and we'll touch on that, and I'll show you how to waterproof it correctly. So I'm going to show you my method that I think is the most ultimate water protection that you can put in behind your stone veneer. As y'all, we are here on the back of the house, and we're gonna get started on prepping for the stone veneer and the siding. So what we're going to have is a sticky stone, a stone veneer, and then it's going to come up about 12 inches to this piece of tape. We'll have a piece of flashing above it, and then we'll start our diamond coat siding above it. But right here, I want to start right here on this back, because we've got some very multiple penetrations through the sheathing. Got the gas line, HVAC, power for the HVAC to service it, and then some conduit down there for the phone and cable. So we need to prep those way water won't splash in, get behind the stone, and find its way back into the wood. So I'm going to show you how you really need to flash that. So I just made a little diagram kind of about what we're going to have. Of course, this is our framing wall, this is our zip sheathing. So I'm going to get our blocks. We are going to basically, here's our 12-inch above our block. This will be a flashing, then the flashing will be taped with some zip tape. Underneath that, we are going to install the zip system peel and stick. We're going to take this, cut it in half, apply it directly to the wall, let it come over the top of that bottom joint, so we'll get that stuck to the wall. I'm going to use some zip Huber stretch tape around all of my penetrations, all my sleeves, and then after we get that on, we will come back with a wire lath. We'll fasten the wire lath, and I'm going to use the peel and stick, because when the nails go through the wire lath, the peel and stick seals around the nails, and you should not have any water penetration in through the nails. A lot of times I just used 30-pound felt, but I felt like the peel and stick was the best option. After the peel and stick gets installed, we will take some coil stock, some aluminum coil stock, and I will bend a flashing to pitch correctly that sets on top of that, and then our stone veneer, of course, will go on top of everything after all the lad is done, and then the stone water cap will go up underneath. The masons can just tuck it right up underneath the flashing, and that way water will come down the siding, hit the flashing, and get out over on top of the stone veneer. And before we put on the peel and stick, I took some Lexel and we sealed that joint up right there. And prior to that, prior to putting on the zip wall, I used some zip liquid flash to apply on top of the concrete and to the bottom plate. If you have not seen that video, I'll put a link and you can check that out and see what I'm talking about. So we've got double duty. We've got the zip liquid flash prior to the sheathing, let it dry, we'll put the sheathing on, and then now we came back with the Lexel on the outside and sealed that sealed that gap up. So we should not have any water penetration at all through that. And on the inside, we took big stretch caulking and sealed the inside on the bottom plate. So now once we get all that is done, we will put the peel and stick, and it should be good for life, you know what I'm saying? I cut the sleeves about 1.25 inches from here, left them hanging out about 1.25 inches, that way I can tape around it, and then my stone veneer will stick out past it just a little bit, that way I don't have to see a raw pipe. So to seal this sleeve, I got the zip system stretch tape, so we're going to wrap it around there and see if we can't do this. Well, that worked like a champ. I have not used the stretch tape to go around penetrations before, the first time I've done it, and it worked really well. Kind of got to be a little gingered with the tape, I guess, just kind of trying to get it around there, but I should be sealed up like a champ. So I'm even going to do this outlet box, the adjustable box. I got it set to what I wanted it to. I did 1.25 inches, and I'm going to take the bottom and then I'll do the top. That way it'll kind of flash it correctly. But this stuff is pretty badass. I've used it for a few, on the windows and stuff, but nothing really for penetration. Do what you want with it. You had it. Well, we've applied some of the zip peel and stick, and since we since we knew how to fool with it on the roof, it made it a lot easier using a trowel. A couple people pulling the paper. That way you can get a pretty wrinkle-free installation. But like I said, this is going to be where our stone veneer will be applied to. We'll use this. Then we'll have a piece of flashing on top of it. We'll tape it. Siding will go up from there, and then we'll do wire lath and nail the wire lath on, and the peel and stick will seal around each nail, and then do a scratch coat, and then we're ready for stone. And my boxes I pre-flashed with the stretch tape, and then we just cut the peel and stick around it. That way water will come on the flash, and if it does get in behind the stone, then it'll just drip and get out over the top of the box there. This morning we are going to get started on installing the metal water table seal, the flashing. We are going to bend it up and make it out of just aluminum coil stock, painted coil stock, which will be white. We have our WRB, our weather resistant barrier, which we went with the zip system peel and stick because that stuff is like, it's crazy, man. But I wanted something to seal around the nails. I've done this in the past and just used tar paper, a couple of layers of tar paper, a good 30-pound felt. I mean, it does work. It's been working for years. I don't know, but it just seems like, I mean, this is going to be your better choice. Everything's going to get sealed around the nails. That way, if water does blow in there and get wet over time, tar paper will actually, over time, degrade and be able to hold water. So this has got some sort of crazy like plastic. It's I don't know exactly what it's made of, but it should never hold water up against it. So once the mortar on the wall gets wet, it should never be able to penetrate through the WRB. Miss Susan would like some stone around the house, all the way around the house, so we just came up. It's going to be approximately 14 inches, somewhere in that area, in that general vasectomy. And just going to have stone all the way around the house, except for on the back or on the garage. It'll be a little taller because the block foundation drops off. But around the majority of the house on the porches, it's going to be 12 to 14 inches. As I said, we are bending some aluminum flashing for the water table trim. It'd basically be 1.5 inches deep with a 3/4 hem, and then about 2.5 inches tall on the back side, which we will set at a desired height. I'll probably use the laser to get it set up where we need to. We'll go ahead and install that, use some zip tape to seal off the very top edge, and then we'll come back, get some wire lath, nail it onto the WRB, and we'll just about be ready for the stonemasons to come, and then we will be actually almost ready for the board and batt diamond coat siding. Here is my laser level. It's a Spectra LT52G. If you are in the neighborhood and looking for a good laser, I like this one. I like the Spectra brand. My grading transit for excavation stuff is Spectra. Really good tool. I've had really good luck with it. And then the green laser. The green laser is probably the most important. I've had a red one, different brand. I think it was Bosch. Couldn't hardly see it. Green laser. I don't know. I haven't seen other brands, but just a green laser in general. I think you'll be a lot more happy with a green laser than a red laser. It's just easier to see. And I guess this is a 5-way laser. Comes straight. It comes out the side. You can square up with it. It'll actually do 200, it's like 280 degrees around a room, so you can set it up and it nearly goes around the entire room with a line. And then of course gives you a perfectly square crosshair. So pretty good laser level. if you're looking if you're in the neighborhood to buy one, this one's a pretty good deal. Here is the metal that Steve and Brent bent up and flashing. 10-degree pitch. This is roughly 2.5. This is 1.5 inches with a 3/4 hem. I like the hem because it makes it more, it's more rigid, it makes it more stout, and it looks cleaner. You don't know we're gonna worry about knife marks or cut marks or anything. Nice and clean look. I'll just pick a spot that's about 14 inches up off of the slab. Set up my laser on a bucket with a board. I didn't really need anything really hard, so I'm gonna set the metal to that laser line. Now that our flashing's on, I'm going to use a little zip tape. So now we should have full waterproofing. Water ever gets onto the wall, comes down the siding, drips on top of here, comes out, drips over the top of the stone, and nothing should really get back, you know, nothing's going to get up in behind here. So, but that's what you want to do. You want to get the water out and over the top of the stone or the brick or whatever you have on the bottom. When you're wanting to make this butt joint, when you butt another piece of flashing, you can go over the top of it, but it tends to stick out. So just take your piece of metal, whichever way you want to lap it, go back to about what your lap is. I'm going to do about 1.5 inches. Cut it at an angle like that. And now inside the hem I can slide it. Here, come hold this piece over here. Slide it inside that hem to that point. And now your metal isn't sticking way out. It's really flush. We're just taking a 2x4, marking that so we've got something to run the tape by, be a little more even. Super clean, looking good. Now we have a really nice looking inside and outside corner. Hold up, time out. I'm gonna throw in a little interjection right here. If you would like to know how I professionally executed that inside and outside corner on my flashing, you can simply join my W.K.D. Construction membership here on YouTube. And when you are a member, you're gonna get a detailed installation like this, because I don't want to be giving my secrets away to everybody, you know what I mean? So if you are a member, I'm going to do that, give detailed instructions on different little items here and there that I think are very, very important. And then I'm going to try to do some giveaways. We'll try to do some live streams, try to make it a more, I don't know, interactive with you and me. You know, you got questions to ask, we can get on live and hopefully I can be able to answer that stuff. So like I said, membership only video is going to be dropping soon. And I've been working pretty heavily with SketchUp Pro, which is a computer CAD program. And with the SketchUp Pro, I can design, draw detailed drawings, blueprints on either house plans that we're building, or say specific items like a fireplace mantle or the corbels like I've got on the garage. So you as a member will be able to either purchase that, or when you join a membership, you'll be, say, you can get two sets of prints with a certain membership. So that's just something kind of cool, I think, that you can actually see as we're building in our videos. You can kind of see the scale of it, what it looks like live in person, and be able to get those drawings and build that yourself. So this morning we are casing out the garage door opening. I called my garage door guy, and he suggested that we drop the header down just a little bit, 3 inches, to do a 7'9" door versus an 8-foot door, just for the radius of it opening on the inside. So we furred it down 3 inches, and now we're putting the jamb in, which we're using the 1x8 diamond coat 1x. So I like to use that better than aluminum. I've done them with aluminum, and they just wrinkle, and it's hard to keep it. So anytime I do a garage door open anymore, I use either a 1x or a you can actually use a piece of hardy or a piece of the siding to make the jamb, because it will not it's not going to wrinkle on you like metal does. So we are using these composite shims. Started using them the past couple houses because they don't swell like a regular shim will, but I don't know, just think they're supposed to hold a little more weight, be able to have a better squeeze factor, so we've been using those. So we contoured the bottom, kind of a little radius to allow for the concrete fit nice and good, but I'll leave about a 1/4 inch expansion, and then be sure to paint your raw edges of the wood, because water will be splashing, on the jamb up underneath there. But if you got a 1/4 inch, you've got enough room for it to dry out. I had to extend the jamb on the outside because I'm going to have the rain screen plus the siding, and then once we get that on, then we will install the trim, leave a reveal, and then on the inside we also have it thick on the inside, because we're going to cover it with some OSB on the bottom, and then we're going to OSB up 5 feet, and then on the bottom over the top of that we're going to adhesive some metal, some flat metal, so that'll be kind of cool. And on the top I think we're going to do a plywood and stain the top about down 4 feet, chair rail, black trim, so be kind of cool. So when you install the wire lad, what I was always taught is it's got a up and a down, which it looks both ways the same, but when you run your hand on it, you go like that, and it's got a lot of friction against your hand. That's the way it should be. That way when you put the mud in there, it grabs onto those little holes and won't fall out. So all the wire lathing is installed, all of our water table flashing is installed where we can. There's a few places that we couldn't finish it, like around the front door. We don't have the front door yet, but so look right here, we stuffed our water table shy of the trim, and I hung this out to allow for the thickness of the siding and the rain screen. So I stuffed this shy to allow for a 3.5 inch piece of trim to go onto the casing, and then we'll install this just like a casing with a nice reveal on there. So that casing, that trim will go on after the siding is on, and it's set on top of the siding. So we'll install all that, put the casing on, and then we'll do a Z flashing on top. And then Miss Susan wants to build a little roof that for decorative roof that kind of covers the garage door. She's been over to my barn and seen that, and she really liked it. So we're going to do that there, and a little roof up on top of that window. All right, y'all, that's it. That's my video on how we prep for the stone veneer and board and batt siding. Once again, I am Keith Dykes. Thanks for watching, and got it, coach.